Hello, welcome back to Middle East in Depth. Freedom House has ranked Tunisia as a free country despite the political, economic and social challenges inherited from the dictatorship era. So let's see what the Washington-based Al Monitor reported on this. Eric Raidi writes from the capital Tunis, the country's largely peaceful transition toward democracy following its 2011 revolution stands in stark contrast to the conflict, repression and return of dictatorship seen in other countries that experienced Arab Spring protests. The Washington-based non-governmental organization Freedom House acknowledged Tunisia's progress in its annual Freedom in the World report, released January the 28th, by singling it out as a notable exception in a year that otherwise saw the state of freedom worsen in virtually every region. Based on a rubric drawn from the international human rights norms that examines political rights and civil liberties, the report categorizes countries as not free, partly free, or free. And after jumping from not free to partly free following the overthrow of longtime President Zine Al Abidine Ben Ali in 2011, Tunisia became the first Arab country since the outbreak of the Lebanese civil war in 1975 to be rated as free in the report. But despite the progress, and as suggested by the lower rating on civil liberties, challenges persist in Tunisia, particularly those related to corruption and the rule of law. Tunisia's upgrade to being a free country is deserved for the progress it has made on the political front, but as Raidi concludes, the long-term sustainability of the country's transition is dependent on how willing political leaders will be to undertake the deep reforms necessary to transform the lingering structures of autocracy into a system that supports freedoms. And now let's look at the lighter sides of things, particularly in Beirut, where an editorial piece in the Daily Star says Lebanon has always had a soft spot for foreign ambassadors, and perhaps the feeling is mutual. Where else in the world can ambassadors expect that nearly every move they make will receive intensive coverage by the local media? In other countries, the editors say, ambassadors have little chance of seeing their meetings with a mid-level government official attract television cameras and reporters who are anxious to receive verbal confirmation that, in fact, relations are good and we had a productive discussion. The Daily Star questions how have ambassadors in Lebanon before the war and after have attained such elevated status. The media is certainly responsible for some of this overkill, but politicians also play a role. Describing his posting several decades ago, one envoy noted that Lebanon was the only country in which politicians would regularly take the initiative to inform diplomats about all manner of domestic political developments, while diplomats would struggle to obtain such information in other countries. And instead of scheduling meetings with 2 or 3 centrally important political parties, diplomats have to schedule several dozen meetings, including with religious figures, to figure out where things stand. The editor concludes diplomats in Lebanon are challenged trying to figure out who is exactly in charge. He says it would be tremendously interesting to get a look at an envoy's notes after meetings with politicians A, B and C and religious figures D, E and F to see if they are any less confused about what's going on. Now that was it for today's brief analysis. For more updates, please visit levant.tv or subscribe to Middle East in Depth on iTunes. Thanks for watching and bye for now.